Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Welcome once again to Kahului Hongwanji Buddhist Temple's YouTube Sunday service. Today's service is for May 8th, 2022, and this is, of course, Mother's Day. So today we will be thinking about mothers. So we already heard the Kansho, the calling bell, and we will now move on to the Vandana and Tisarana, praising the Buddha and the Buddha's enlightenment and taking refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. After that, we will chant the Sutra verses, reaffirming the vows, the English version of the Sutra Juseige, which is part of the larger Sutra, part of the story of Amida Buddha, which is a kind of a myth or a parable that talks about the Bodhisattva vow and the way that the Bodhisattva, the one who is seeking true enlightenment, vows that he or she will not accept or not be saved alone, not achieve enlightenment alone, but be instead bring everyone along with them. So the vows of Amida Buddha are that everyone will also be part of that enlightenment, part of that awakening, and become one with Amida, boundless life. So after that, after the chanting of verses reaffirming the vow, we will recite the golden chain of love, and then I will share a Dharma message with you. And after the Dharma message, we will chant the Metta, the loving kindness meditation, and then sing the Nembutsu, after which I will have some closing words and announcements. So thank you very much for being here today, for joining us online for our service, and hope you enjoyed today's service. Let's begin our service with the Nembutsu. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu.
Aid in times of suffering, may I not attain Buddhahood. I will reach enlightenment, but unless my Buddha name resounds throughout the universe, may I not attain Buddhahood. I will practice the noble path, wisely, mindfully, free of greed, seek to reach the supreme way, be a guide to one and all. May my power shine great light to illumine and dispel the darkness of the three poisons, and save all from suffering. With eyes of wisdom I'll remove the darkness of ignorance. I will close all evil paths, open gates of highest good. When I attain Buddhahood, light will shine throughout all lands, light brighter than sun and moon, outshining all heavenly lights, giving my virtues to all, not forsaking anyone. I will proclaim the Dharma like the roar of a great lion, bowing before all Buddhas, steadfastly gaining virtues, with wisdom fulfilling my vows. I shall be a guide to all, like the wisdom of my teacher. May my wisdom also shine all throughout the universe, and illumine one and all. If I shall fulfill these vows, may all lands tremble with joy. From the heavens wondrous flowers rain down upon all the lands. Namon Dabu, Namon Dabu, Namon Dabu, Namon Dabu, Namon Dabu, Namon Dabu. The virtue of Amida's vow is shared equally by all, together attaining awakened mind. We are born in the land of peace. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu.
Golden Chain of Love. I am a link in Amida Buddha's golden chain of love that stretches around the world. I must keep my link bright and strong. I will try to be kind and gentle to every living thing and protect all who are weaker than myself. I will try to think pure and beautiful thoughts, to say pure and beautiful words, and to do pure and beautiful deeds, knowing that on what I do now depends not only my happiness or unhappiness, but also that of others. May every link in Amida Buddha's golden chain of love become bright and strong, and may we all attain perfect peace. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Welcome once again, and at this time I'd like to share some thoughts about the Buddha's teaching with you. Would you please join me in Kansho as we recite the Nembutsu. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Well, welcome and happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there and all the mother within all of us. That's an important thing to reflect on as well. So today is Mother's Day, and everyone has a mother, so this is an easy thing to understand, I think, and appreciate. And if your mother is still with you, you probably wished her a happy Mother's Day today. And if not, go ahead and stop watching this video and go ahead and call her right now. If she's not still with you, as is the case for many of us past a certain age, sadly, I'm sure you thought about her today. Maybe you brought flowers to her grave, or put your hands together in Kansho in her memory, maybe in front of your Buddhist altar or just anywhere. So this is a very important thing for all of us to make some act, to do something that allows us to express gratitude for our mothers. And Mother's Day is a wonderful opportunity to do this and to be reminded to do this. Your mother is one of the two people most responsible for you being here in the world today, at this moment. For each of us to be able to be alive and enjoy living. If you think about it, life is a gift much greater than any present that you could give back to your mother or your father for our life, isn't it? If it wasn't for our parents, we wouldn't be able to live. We couldn't be who we are. Besides that fact, our parents fed us and clothed us as we were growing up from birth on, took care of all of our needs, and put up with all the trouble we gave them. If you gave them any trouble. Of course, I'm sure many of you were perfect children, so you didn't do that. In my case, of course, I gave my parents a lot of trouble. But this applies especially to our moms, our mothers. They do all those things for us constantly, even though we often don't appreciate them. As kids, we might have complained a lot and said, when Mom told us to do something, do I have to? How come I have to do my homework? How come I have to do this? Why can't I watch TV? Why can't I go out and play? Most of us, when we were growing up, we probably complained a lot and took our moms for granted. Did you do that? So Mother's Day is a time when we are reminded to give our mothers the appreciation and love that she really deserves. We are reminded not to take Mom for granted. Dads have to wait until next month to get their appreciation. I'm sorry about that. Mother's Day was invented first, was created first, and then Father's Day was kind of an afterthought. So, fathers just have to kind of be more humble and accept that lesser role in this in these holidays, these appreciation days. Now, moms, of course, nobody's perfect, and I'm sure nobody's mom is perfect. And sometimes moms can drive their kids crazy. There are certain time-honored phrases that moms, at least in America, when I was growing up, often say to their children. Actually, I'm not sure if moms say these things today, come to think of it, because they did that when I was growing up. That was back in the 60s. Times have changed a bit. I think moms and dads nowadays try harder to be friends with their kids, which parents didn't do that when I was growing up, and at least not growing up in the Midwest, in Chicago. Of course, I knew my parents loved me. No doubt, I didn't doubt that. But they never tried to be my friend. They just tried to get me to do what they thought I should be doing. And I didn't even mind that, because the adults had their own world. We kids had our world, and the adults had their world, and we kind of left each other alone. But anyway, these are the, parents were there to tell us, hey, what are you doing that for? Why are you doing? You better be doing that. Did you do such and such? So here are some of the comments that I kind of try to remember that I used to hear from my mom when I was growing up, and so this is my list. This one is very common in the Midwest, where I'm from. Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? That's what she would say. This means don't think you're better than anybody else. Don't think you're smarter, and don't get a swollen head. Okay? So that was meant to teach humility. Another one I heard, if you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all. That was kind of a cliche. A lot of people, you heard that a lot from people anyway. And, of course, you might say that, but all of us say things that are critical of each other, don't we? We enjoy that, which is one of the sad facts of human life. But it is true. We shouldn't say. We should try to think of what is encouraging to say about other people, rather than to criticize them and find their faults, not seeing our own faults. The other one I heard all the time is ask your father. So if I ask my mom something, and that would be followed shortly by ask your mother from my father. So that one is just a circular thing, I don't know if they organized it that way, but that's the way it was. Another comment I often heard from my mother was, how can you be bored? You're bored? How can you be bored? I was never bored at your age. I always had plenty to do. Fathers also would say this, maybe even more. And they would all, right after they would tell us kids, how many miles they used to have to walk to school, even during a snowstorm. Another one, kind of scolding was, look at me when I'm talking to you. Look at me when I'm talking to you, because what your parents are criticizing you or scolding you, you're kind of just trying to think about going out, getting away, go do something fun, Another one was, I don't care if so-and-so's mom said it was okay. In other words, it doesn't matter what any other parent said, you listen to me. And another one was, you'll shoot your eye out with that thing. That's made famous by that one movie, but moms really said that all the time. I'm going to give you to the count of 3. So I never found out what would actually happen if I didn't do what she wanted by the count of 3. So I wasn't that brave. So I don't think anything would have happened. But back then we believed our parents when they threatened us. I don't know if kids do nowadays. Another one was, I'll treat you like an adult when you start acting like an adult. Well, that's what parents are for. They're supposed to be encouraging us to become to grow up, right? Not to stay little kids. Don't pick that up. You don't know where it's been. So, kids always picking things up off the ground. I know I was always. Now this one is funny. And my mom really said this to me once or twice. She said, make sure you put on clean underwear before you go out in case you get in an accident and have to go to the hospital. So I never, as a child, I didn't think through the dimensions of that very well. But yeah, just you wouldn't want anybody to see you with unclean underwear if you got in an accident and went to the hospital. So she really said that. So why? Because I said so. That's why. If your friend jumped off a cliff, would you jump too? Well, depends, I guess I would say, but I couldn't say that. So, do you think your clothes are going to pick themselves up off the floor? Actually, my mom was constantly doing housework and laundry and stuff like that, but we took that for granted. So sometimes we didn't even put our clothes in the proper place when we, to be washed, just leave them on the floor. And so that kind of was pushing. That was going too far for her. And finally, the classic one was, wait until your father gets home. So that's when you're really in trouble, you really kind of pushed her too far. So there's more, of course, but that's a fair sample. But even when our moms, scolded us or got exasperated with us, which they did, of course, even when they lost patience with us, and to be fair, in those cases, I was usually trying to get away with something. So when she lost patience, it was always because she loved me. Mothers love their children, and was trying to make sure we became the best people we could be. One of the main teachings of Buddhism is interdependence. which shows us that we're all able to live and are able to do everything we do only because of the help of others. That begins with our moms and dads, our mothers and fathers. When you think about it, a mother is like a great treasure. When we're babies, we don't yet think about things. We just want to eat and be held and feel loved, warm and loved. So at that time, mother is the greatest treasure, you know? Sometimes she's the only thing that a baby wants, and no one else can satisfy that baby. No one else can substitute for the mother. She gives the baby everything the baby needs, 24 hours a day. And you don't feel whole or complete if mom is not nearby. It's hard to remember that. That's going back so far, in a way, before language. But there's a memory of that in all of us, I think. Mom is the only thing we want. She's the treasure. She's our treasure, the greatest thing in the world. But as you get older and learn to talk and walk and think and you know, make plans and schemes, we start to discover ourselves as separate people, not just as an extension of our mothers. And we begin to focus on ourself, our own self. That's selfishness, you know, self-centeredness begins to develop. I think we think about what I want, right? Also, by that time, mom has probably started using the word no quite often. And this goes against our natural desire at this point to do whatever it is we want to do. So then, even though we still totally depend on our mothers, we begin to learn to take her for granted. We take all the stuff she does for us as our due, as an inherent right, but at the same time, we don't feel grateful, and we don't want her to hinder us, to stop us from doing exactly what we want to do. And so it goes as we grow up. And partly this is just natural. We all have to learn to become separate from our mothers, and our fathers too, our parents. We have to learn to be independent, to take care of ourselves. And that's what parents are supposed to teach us. Someday, we all have to leave home and live on our own and maybe begin families of our own. We need to learn to depend on ourselves, not on our parents, and to make our own decisions. Because of course, mom and dad will not live forever. And there will come a time when, whether we like it or not, we have to know how to take care of ourselves. Our moms know this and help us on our journey toward becoming independent adults. Part of the way they do this is by being patient with our growing selfishness, and partly by, and in that way, I think, by kindly guiding us not to be selfish, by correcting our behavior and correcting us if we become prematurely independent or arrogant about our own importance, or have illusions that we already know everything. You can't tell me anything because I know everything. You're just an old parent who doesn't know anything, right? Most of the things mothers say to us that sometimes may annoy us are really words of wisdom that help us to grow into independent adults who are not only able to take care of ourselves, but also through her own example to us of unselfishness, we can become adults who have learned to appreciate the wonderful life which we are all given, though through the kindness and help of all the other beings who nurture and support us. So even though all children tend to go through a time when they try to get around their parents, to rebel against their moms and dads, and they even resent being told what to do, you know, we've all been through that, we all remain in some way, in some deep way, I think, that same little baby who sees mom as the greatest, most wonderful thing in the world. Deep inside us, there's still that germ of that. And there always comes a time when we, as we get on in years, return to that original realization and rediscover what our parents really mean to us. Hopefully, we all return to realize the treasure of life that began with our parents, that we experience with so much pure happiness as babies in our mother's arms. As a baby, our mom was our treasure, and everything focused on her. As we get older, we become the center of our life as we learn independence. Finally, as our parents get older and decline, we awaken to the oneness of life that we have always lived because of our mothers and fathers. We discover that the true treasure is the life we have always shared, the life in which we are one with our parents and grandparents, and with all of our ancestors, and with the sun and the rain and the plants and the animals, with this earth that sustains every moment of our living. And it's never too early to begin to realize that oneness, that interdependence that we share with others, so that we can express our gratitude as early and as often as possible, and not wait until all the things that are so precious to us, our mothers and fathers and loved ones and all the precious things in the world around us have gone away from us. So I hope you will all take this day as an opportunity to reflect on the treasure of your life, the treasure of the life you are living, and begin to appreciate it in those around you, those you share your life with, especially your parents, especially your mom today. So will you join me in Kansho as we close with the recitation of the Nembutsu? Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. May all beings be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May I be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to me. May I live in peace and harmony. May my family be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May my teachers be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May my friends be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May strangers be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May my enemies be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May all beings be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. Well, thank you very much for joining us today for Kahului Hongwanji's online Sunday service, online YouTube Sunday service, and also for our Mother's Day celebration. And hope you enjoyed today's service and that you have something to think about, take away with you during the week. So I have a couple of announcements, a few announcements. Next week will be our Fuji Matsuri, our combined celebration of Shinran Shonin's birthday. And that will be held at Kahului Hongwanji Buddhist Temple, and not here at Kahului. And there will be no YouTube video, I'm sorry, for next week. Sorry to say, but there won't be. The following week, we will have, and that's at 9 o'clock. The following week, we will have our own major service commemoration of Shinran Shonin's birthday here at the temple at 9 o'clock. An in-person service, and that's called Gotane, Shinran's birthday, and we will have both the Gotane, the major service, and also we will include our family gratitude remembrance as we do every month. And the following, and there will also be a YouTube service as well next on the 22nd. On May 29th, there will be no service, no YouTube, and no in-person. June 5th, we will be having Graduate Sunday, at which we honor all the graduates within our temple, the high school mainly, and that will be at the usual time, but there will be a lunch afterwards, and there will be no YouTube service also on June 5th. On June 12th, there will be a family service with also include, as well as a YouTube service in person here in the temple and YouTube. June 19th, we will also have our family service in person as well as a YouTube service, and that will also be our family gratitude service for June. On June 26th, there will be no service here. We will have a service. We will meet at Kahului Hongwanji also at 9 o'clock for an in-person service, and then for the Buddhist Study Center's satellite session for Maui, which will be a lecture about an hour and a half following the service, and the speaker will be Professor Scott Mitchell. He will also be giving the Dharma message during the service itself. So should be a very interesting time. He is a professor at Institute of Buddhist Studies, and he focuses on Buddhism in the West, Buddhism here in America and Europe and places like that. So I think you might enjoy that. So thank you very much for being with us today, and let's put our hands together in Kansho and recite the Nembutsu. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu.